We should have a document for characters. Actually, if you could just make your characters in a Google Doc and then share it,
Okay.
that would
No
be
problem.
easier for me. Which is, I think we can all agree, the important part of. Okay, so I don't know. I know, Ron, you know quite a bit about Jadepunk. I don't know how much you know, Frank, or you, John.
I know the basic gist of it. That it's Wuxia meets 19th century steampunk. Well, not steampunk. I mean magical mineral punk.
It's steampunk. I mean, you
Yeah.
can call it whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, it looks like steampunk. It acts like steampunk. Just because we don't use steam doesn't mean it's not steampunk.
Okay. Yeah. Or
Because I've had to try and figure that one out myself. We're like,
all right. Yeah. No. So I get the basic gist of the genre. Characters acting. Characters, like most characters in Wuxia films and stories, fighting are outcasts who may or may not be part of the criminal class, fighting against corrupt officials and against oppression and tyranny.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I understand that the system is based on fate with a few alterations. It seems like assets are similar to the sort of like power construction in like Carabo's Club and that sort of thing.
Well, it's based off the gift construction from Caribous Club, if you
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
know that. So not powers directly, but in some ways, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's my grounding in the system and the genre.
Okay, so basically what you need to know then is like the very, very basics of the setting is uh, Jade powers all technology that's advanced. All advanced technology comes from the use of Mystic Jade. Mystic Jade doesn't necessarily follow uh, logic so much as it follows connectivity and desire. So there's that. The biggest source of jade in the world is Kaosao City, and it's the only source of black jade, which is the jade that allows other jades to meld together. There's 4 big countries that own the city, or kind of run the city, and they have established a governor, and the governor is a really, really, really bad guy. And anything beyond that we can make up as we go.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I'm missing something, but if I can't make up stuff about Jadepunk, who can?
Yeah.
So it's set in space, and you're all Wookiees. Go. No. So, all right. So Frank, it looks like you've got most of your character done.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the aspect generation is the first bit for the game. And here's where we have to, kind of come up with. It's fairly standard, but the aspects are a little different, so I'll go over them. You have portrayal, which is basically just high concept. You have background, which is where you're from, what experiences you've had, that sort of thing. Then you have your inciting incident, what drove you to fight against injustice. Then you have your belief, what continues to drive you. What is your core belief about the world or about yourself or about something. And then you have your trouble, what gets in your way. So, for those who have not yet made characters, this would be the time for that.
Well, I am basically playing one of my pre-gens, but we'll tweak it a little bit. But for posterity's sake, let's go through the character creation process anyway.
All right. So let's get portrayals down. I see Frank has versatile man of many faces.
Yeah.
So we're already this close to running He-Man. Because you have many faces.
Yeah.
For the time being, my portrayal is the crusading fencer.
Okay,
Going for function over form.
that works. We can always tweak it later as we need.
Yeah. And
All
my
right.
character, yeah. So my
I'm sorry.
character's name is a red mantle, of course.
But his friends just call him Red. So-
Right.
hey, if you see, I put a little bit of your character into the Jade Tech books. I believe that in Black Jade there's Red Crow, who is a thief. Who
Oh, I'm
uses
gonna I have to check that out.
who uses a stopwatch. I don't know. So, John, what are you thinking about for your portrayal aspect? Okay, then. So, John, are you there?
Hmm.
All right. Well,
I
moving.
apologize, guys.
Oh,
I'm gonna be back in a few minutes. I have something I need to deal with.
all right. Well, let's. While he's away, let's talk about maybe some places or some faces you'd like to put into the setting. What if I remember right, we were thinking of putting of doing your group kind of as a mix between like a leverage crew and the crew of the Firefly kind of a thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or is that not a thing anymore? Because I'm okay either way. So, and of course my camera's doing that weird fuzz thing it does. So I was thinking maybe come up with your port of call, your place that you leave from and go to the most. Yes, no.
Um,
It,
I think
it,
a
it
good,
would, yeah.
so I think that's a good question. What is our port of call? Um,
Do we have a Google Notes document for Hangout Notes?
Yeah, here, let me, I'll
Okay.
share those. I think I'll be the one doing the typing on it,
Okay.
so you guys can view and comment.
It's always the names. I forget the names
Oh
always.
yeah, me too. It's really nothing impressive just yet, because, well, there's nothing there yet.
I,
But
I do think we should have some kind of a safe haven where we could retreat if things get hot. So, that would probably be a kind of port of, well, not that, not the best repute. So, well, mm, maybe some kind of smuggler's port or something.
well, there is the weird air docks out on the dunes, which are hard to judge by the Pirates Gate.
Hmm.
So you could have that be the district, the area that you go to is the dunes.
Okay. Um,
All right, so we have the dunes, which is already a real sketchy kind of a place. The guard and the watch, they come out every now and again, but mostly it's left to itself. And so it's got lots of towers, lots of taverns, lots of people who don't want to go through official channels.
of course.
Now, do you guys have any contacts there that you get in touch with? I'm not talking allies, because those are you can make yourself, but like actual well, I guess my question is how sketchy do you see your guys being? Are you guys the true blue, the goodest of the good guys, or do you do what you need to do to keep flying and you try to do good on the way?
Oh well, I'm one of the good guys always.
Well, that's true. No one can prove different. Uh,
But actually, this time he might be not that bad as the other ones.
um, so, the red mantle is um, a some sort of a trader. Um, so I was gonna do like a tea house owner, but I, I figured I want to change things up a little bit here.
okay.
So, so she owns a ship. She does some trading. Maybe she does a little bit of smuggling on the side.
Well, if you guys are gonna be like gathering up old artifacts and valuables, you'll
We,
probably need a fence or two. People you can sell this stuff to.
yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the scope. So, um, I I think I had in mind that we were gonna do some traveling,
Okay.
like outside of Kaosao City. Um, Everything that I've seen so far, like either games I've watched, played, or games I've run myself, or things that I've read about, has been very Kaosao focused,
Mhm.
which I think it would be kind of neat to explore what's really outside of Kaosao. Because those are the things that reading the book um, that really got me excited. I like the fact that you guys like left a left outside of Kaosao basically a clean slate, um, with some bits of inspiration here and there. So, um,
Well, I mean, you still need a place to gather rumors
yeah,
and do stuff. So I think the dunes works there for that place. Do you have a route then? If you're a trader, do you have a series of places you go?
um, what's what is some stuff out of the Irish lands
Well,
that
the
the Irish are known for
the
trading
Irish have.
goods?
I mean, they've got white jade, obviously, um, and they
Right.
have the best clockworks, um, and they have a lot of minerals as well. So steel, or tin or copper or bronze, any of that. Um, they don't have as much agricultural wealth or domesticated animals. mostly because they live really high up in the mountains to avoid the terrible, terrible animals that live in the lowlands. Of course, then there's the burned lands, which is where they gather the red jade and have to deal with the scrain. Yeah, scrain.
Okay.
And so yeah, they deal mostly in materials, rock and metal and the unique stuff they have. They do have domestic animals. They do have like domestic parrots and stuff are fairly common, and probably other high altitude animals.
Maybe we could work as freelancers for not that big, but extensive trading house, trading family, like one that has several facilities in several locations. So we will have some contacts there that we regularly visit, but we are still freelancers, so not strongly affiliated with them.
Yeah. So I forget what kind of character John said he was going to make.
I think he was going to make an engineer, a Jadetech engineer.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what he hinted at last time.
Okay. You know, I watched the Temple of Doom last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this idea for a cross between Indiana Jones and Malcolm Reynolds.
That would work. Then I could put red dotted lines across the map.
Yeah.
Well, I have a kind of a rough map of how the world looks. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was planning on doing a like as you mentioned a Jade Tech engineer. I was actually thinking like a dispossessed or perhaps self-exiled Narameli or Naramelian. I'm not sure what the proper nomenclature is.
It's just Naramel. The Naramel are from Naramel.
Oh, okay. The Naramel. Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones who got the name the same as their country name.
Okay. All right.
Unlike the Irish or the Tuyangan or the Kayumi.
All right. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I missed pretty much everything prior to this.
We were just kind of discussing the scope of play, and Ron was expressing that he'd like to do a lot of traveling outside of Cowsow City.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
Okay. And we were also kind of in the middle of doing portrayal aspects.
Okay.
And so Ron was contemplating maybe changing his. And portrayal is just like high concept.
All right.
So it's just who you are on the surface or at the core.
Great. All right. So, yeah.
So were you planning on changing your character, Ron, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely changing my character because
Okay.
because the Red Mantle is like a Cow South city focused character. I'm thinking, so
I'm not sure about either. You probably shouldn't be
So you're thinking something closer to like a Indiana Jones meets Malcolm Reynolds, a kind of a sky pirate kind of a thing?
yeah, I wouldn't call him a pirate. I'd like to call him he's a businessman. Um, no, actually, I'm leaning more towards in the Indiana Jones influence, like an academic,
Okay.
an adventuring academic, who is um, who is rich enough to own his own ship so that he can go off and do these explorations. Um, I would like him to be connected to an academic institution, maybe an institution outside of Kaosao.
Well, Tuyang has the best academies, and the Naramel have the oldest libraries.
Okay.
Just as options. I think we even mention Tuyang and academies in the book somewhere, probably under education.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say if your character's academic contact or link to an academic institution is something out of the Naramel, then that provides, if not a ready-made link between our characters, then at least like an excuse as to how our characters could have met.
That's an option. It's funny because, like, you were thinking of an arrow, a Naramel, and Frank's character is a Chiangi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, either way, you guys are an engineer though, John. Um, what's his thing? Is he a clockwork guy? Is he a bomb maker? Is he a generalist?
John? John, you
Oh,
there?
sorry about that. Yeah, no, I've got my kid as well, so
Mm.
I'm kind of distracted. My apologies. Um, you were saying?
You said you guys is an engineer.
Yeah, yeah. So briefly, what I was thinking is that his high concept or his portrayal would be dispossessed Narameli prince, um, and that um, that he would have been like he would have started out as kind of like a dissolute aristocrat, so to speak, and that. Ah, what is? Just a moment, guys.
I think the problem with clockworks is they don't explode. So bombs
Wow,
little way.
but you can use clockworks to make bombs explode.
Yeah.
So, and really, if my games have proven anything, it's that everything can explode. So,
Right.
all right. So you were thinking about being an academic, Ron.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so let's make up an institution.
You know what?
That,
I'm gonna make him Irish, and
okay.
his institution is going to be an Irish academy, which may not be as reputable, but their thing is sending scholar adventurers out to go hunt for artifacts.
So it's like the National Geographic Society, but for the Irish.
I
Well,
guess.
that's what they originally did, was they would send out explorers to go look at stuff, and then write up the whole thing, and then you get the magazine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. he's been great the entire day, and in the evening he's just yeah. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. So um, what I was saying was, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting.
No, it's fine.
I just want to get it out. Is I figured that he, kind of started out his life as just kind of a dissolute aristocrat, probably not first or second to inherit, but with lots of free time, lots of money, probably got into tinkering with Jade Tech as a hobby because what else do you do? When that sort of thing, when you have lots of money and lots of free time and little to no restrictions on how you spend either. Um, and that he got into Jade Tech design seriously when maybe one of his friends who ran in similar circles to him um, pissed off a corrupt merchant or official, perhaps affiliated with Kaosao City, or perhaps affiliated with the Aram Trading Company that I know does a lot of business in Kaosao City and surrounding areas.
Yeah, the Four Winds Trading Company.
Yeah, the Four Winds. Yeah, perhaps an official out of there. His friend Cyril got himself killed as a result, and that was the kind of thing that spurred Hassan to to make something of himself and to fight against this pervasive injustice that he had been up until that point more or less blind to by dint of his privilege.
Okay. That works, I think, and we'll have to come up with a way for you to be on this explorer / trade ship, but that shouldn't be too hard. Because yeah, we can use the Four Winds Trading Company. I can even make that work real well with the academy that sponsors you. Is oddly enough, Ron, wherever you go and explore, the Four Winds Trading Company shows up shortly thereafter and starts taking stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, I was going to say a real Indiana Jones and, well, actually, I mean, most of the classic Indiana Jones um, movies. You know, rival treasure hunters or thieves or filthy, no good Nazis. That sort of thing. Um,
Yes, absolutely.
Rival crew. All right. Cool. I can make that work. All right. So, Frank, you're a con man.
Yep.
And you're a con man with poor self-control. So look at your trouble. It's right there.
It's not about self-control. Actually, it's about calculated risks.
So what risk did you calculate poorly that caused you to get on the ship? What are you on the run from at the moment?
Oh, at the moment, yeah. The major problem I do have is that well, some guys at the council got a little bit pissed off because I'm trying to stick it back to them what they did to my career and to other formerly honest folks, because the council corrupts people. So I do have some kind of history of some long con games I ran against some council members, and well, now the ground is actually a bit too hot for me. So taking up to the air, letting things in Kaosao City cool down a little bit seems like a good idea. And actually, as far as I know, they put someone onto my trail, and maybe I actually know who they put on my
Like a
trail,
bounty hunter?
or some kind of spy or guy for special missions, the council, or some higher up in the council as a personal kind of let's say
Enforcer?
troubleshooter, yeah, the enforcer employs. So, and I would estimate it's one quite similarly skilled guy, someone who is as a spy or bounty hunter or something, quite qualified to track someone down. And maybe to get a little bit more diverse origins, it could be one Caillou person.
All right.
So, yeah, maybe some kind of spy or something they used to, well, put on my trail.
All right, I've got some ideas for that. I'll play around with that.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got the Four Winds Trading Company, Agents of the Council of Nine, and the Arish Academy as kind of organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good number of organizations that are super handy for building conflict.
I don't know if they want me dead right away. I think they want to have, a little bit more fun than simply getting me killed off-site.
All right. Okay.
Or worse is good. Or worse.
Okay, so we've got, you're looking for artifacts and new cultures and places. The cool part is we have a whole continent that has had nothing mentioned about it. We have one that's had a little bit mentioned about it.
Hey,
Actually, most of them had very little mentioned about them, but
hey, do you mind if I make up a name?
go for it.
All right. How about, let's see, this Lynn Wright Academy.
All right.
So that's why I've been quiet. I'm actually working on my character
Okay,
a little
cool.
bit. So my new character's name is Ezra Bishop, and his portrayal is a two-fisted archaeologist.
Are there other kinds? I hold that there are not. The only archaeologists I know are all two-fisted.
So his background is Lynn Wright Academy professor.
My, we got a professor and a prince. Oh my.
Absolutely.
Now we see why you're actually on the ship. There's just so much opportunity.
Yeah.
So please remind me, Four Winds Trading Company. That's an organization that's friendly with the governor, right?
Yeah, they're one of they're not government controlled by the Irish, but they're government sponsored. They're a lot like, say, the East India and West India companies of England.
Which is to say that they're probably gigantic dicks.
Well,
Yeah.
they're just in it for the money. They don't really care who they have to step on to get it.
Oh, I think we need a face for them. At least a face of a captain of one of their ships that gets constantly in our way.
Four Winds keeps stealing my stuff.
And we'll say we'll call him Douglas Fairchild. That sounds good.
And the ship should have a very peaceful and deceiving name, I think.
Yeah.
Something like the Golden Hind, a classic.
Are you talking
Alright.
about his? You talking about his ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, captain of the Golden Hind, a 4-wind ship, and its crew of pot hunters. That's what they're called. They would use a bulldozer to find a China Cup.
No, let's see here. Four Winds, Douglas Fairchild. You know what? I want to make this my inciting incident more personal.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't access Google Docs properly. It keeps on shutting me out.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to fix that.
You're in your Google Drive app, or where did you try to access them? Do you see the links here in the Hangout chat? John?
I'm sorry?
John, did you see the links in the Hangout chat for the Google Documents? Can you open one of them?
I don't know if you're asking me, but I'm not having any problem at all.
No, I'm asking John.
Yeah.
I don't
See,
know
we got
if,
Ron and John. That's just confusing.
Yeah.
because if the documents open correctly, then you should be able to create your own document.
No, it keeps on reloading the page.
Ah,
Like I've tried to type in my name. His name is Hassan Al Hakim, and I've tried to type it in like 4 or 5 times, and it keeps on reloading.
well, here, just type it into the chat, and then I'll put it in the PCs section over here.
Okay.
That way we can at least get moving forward.
Okay.
All right, so you're the son of Hakim, who's probably one of the regional governors, one of the, what are they called? I had names for them. All right, this is John's character.
And are we on to inciting incidents yet?
No, because that's background is first.
Okay.
All right. So what are you thinking for background, Ron?
Background is merely Linwright Academy professor.
Okay, that's good. It's simple, but it works, and we'll be able to manipulate that later. And
Yeah.
Because again, it's hard to get a feel for something until you've actually dropped some dice and seen where you really feel it.
Yep.
And Frank, you're...
I was once an up-and-coming career bureaucrat working for the council, trying to play the honest game. But
you were probably the only one there doing that.
Yeah. So it didn't work out. Yeah.
All right. And John, what are you thinking for your background aspect?
So I was thinking, um, uh, I'd say I don't know how to phrase this, but I'd
Okay,
say something like dilettante turned engineer because
that's a fine that's a fine way to say it. Um, I think that works pretty well. And again, we can always find a better way to say the same thing. We can change these things as we go. All right, now we're on to inciting incident. so, so Frank, what do you got for inciting incident?
Yeah, that was actually me trying to do the honest game, but too many honest folks still believe the council's corrupt lies. That led to my being a little bit disappointed in actually how the whole thing works, and my heart beats for the honest folk, but being honest means you're not powerful enough. You have to use the council's corruption and dishonesty to do the good things in this evil world. So, well, I try to do the good thing by being a little bit bad.
Okay. All right, and Ron, what are you thinking for yours?
For my inciting incident,
Yep.
um, Fairchild took my most prized treasure.
And what treasure was that?
Um,
Did he marry your sister?
no, he stole my love interest.
Okay, so we've got a love interest. So
oh,
interest. We got a new face.
um, so as far as exciting in the inciting incident, is that supposed to just be an aspect representing what happened specifically, or my response to what happened, or how exactly does that work?
It's an aspect in response to it, or representing it in you, because this is the thing that drove you to step away from normal society. You know, this is the thing that drove you away from being a prince.
Okay.
So this is a thing that's going to be very important to you. It's kind of it's the reason you do what you do, if that makes sense. So what are you thinking? I mean, you said you wanted to have a
I'm
friend killed by.
Yeah, that's specifically what I was thinking. I'm just thinking of the right way to phrase it. Is that Hassan's best friend, who, like I said, was kind of ran in the same circles of dissolute aristocracy that he did, um, ended up probably like cheating in a game of cards or something like that, or maybe oh no, even better, refused an immoral business deal offered by a representative of the Four Winds Trading Company. Because just because you're, a bit of a fop doesn't mean that you're an asshole. And ended up getting removed from the equation because of it. Um,
Okay.
so I think in response to the inciting incident is I will let's see yeah, I will avenge you.
Okay.
I will avenge you, Cyril.
Does his family blame you?
Um, does Cyril's family blame me?
Yep.
Uh, yeah, probably because I'm guessing that even if my parents like understood my reasons for acting for acting out in response to it, like going after the Four Winds Trading Company. I'm thinking that they probably, like, my portrayal says they had to disinherit me and whatnot because otherwise the trading company would cease to do business with them, and all that. So yeah, probably a bit. Which adds to the reasons why, if there's an exploring slash smuggling ship that happens to be going everywhere but Kaozao City, I'd, you know, seek out a berth there.
Okay, so they're also centered in Kaosao then.
Well, no, I was saying that they probably did significant amounts of business there.
Okay.
Is what I'm thinking. And I got the impression just reading over reviews of the game that the Naramel have a reputation as go-betweens and negotiators and merchants.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure I know what you're thinking, so that way I can bring it up later when it's important.
Okay. Absolutely.
All right. So we've got inciting incidents for everybody. All right. Beliefs. John, what are you thinking for your belief for your character?
I need to think on that for a little bit.
Okay.
Why don't you go to Ron or what have you?
All right. Ron, what do you got for Ezra's belief?
I'm thinking something along the lines of the most important treasures have no value. I feel like I'm focusing too much on the treasure and archaeology thing.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to go with something kind of indie related while still being able to do treasure type things, is you could go with his whole "this belongs in a museum" kind of a thing. But instead of doing that, you could say there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. Like there's a place and a purpose for everything. And
there's a place. There's a place for everything.
All right, and
there's a proper place for everything.
I like that. We can tweak that if we need to, but I like that.
Yeah.
And Frank, what do you got for your belief?
Well, I firmly believe you can't con an honest man. You may cheat an honest man, but you cannot con one.
I like it. It works. I think I can compel that. You'll be like, well, you could keep telling him lies, but that would just be cheating.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Do you have any thoughts, John?
Yes. I think a belief that links in with his inciting incident and then also provides a ready-made excuse for why he's on the same ship as these two is always repay your debts. So for Hassan, if he owes someone something, whether it's somebody saving his life or offering him shelter or what have you, then he's bound to repay that. And likewise for insults or threats or what have you, that sort of thing. So.
Okay, and then we're on to the fifth and last aspect, trouble. What gets in your way? Frank, I think you've got a great one.
Yeah, my trouble aspect is, this is an outrageously bad plan. Let's do it.
I can work with that. And Ron, what is Ezra's trouble?
I need to think on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, do you have any thoughts on Hassan's trouble?
Sheltered and naive.
Okay.
He's still never quite gotten over that portion of his upbringing.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me help you through the rest of the world. You can I explain how the world works.
uh, uh.
You seem like an honest man, so I could never.
Absolutely.
Okay. What are you thinking for Imran? What are you trying to?
Well, I'm trying to think about my character concept here, being a two-fisted archaeologist, and so it's about traveling the world looking for these treasures, put them in a museum, or doing whatever is appropriate with them. Um, but there's like I'm trying to answer the question, what is it that gets in the way of him being an archaeologist? Accomplishing that. Um, maybe something like greed, like although he might believe there's a proper place for everything. Um,
It could be that this is a grand adventure, right? So he's kind of a romantic, and you've even like hinted at that with Douglas Fairchild taking your woman
Oh
or
yeah,
man. I'm not trying to pressure you, but so it could be that you always follow your heart or something like that, like even when it's really stupid. And I don't know how to say that better, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
a kind of hopeless romantic, or really always follow your heart. This is trouble as good as it gets. So if you do this, you are sure to piss people off.
yeah. Um, I think that he has a conscience,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'll just go with always follow your heart. So that's just, and if I want to change it, I'll change it.
Which also implies that your heart wants things that are bad for you. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but my heart demands that I eat nothing but Krispy Kreme donuts all day today. It's just, I'm, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. After all, Wu, who I know is an honest man because he told me so, says that Krispy Kreme donuts are fine for you.
let's talk about donuts. I cannot stand. I lived right next to a Krispy Kreme for 6 years. Um, the smell alone of their congealed sugar just no. All right. So next we get to professions. Arranging them. You get one profession at +3, two at +2, two at +1, and one at +0. And the professions are. I'm going to see if I can do them in alphabetical order. Aristocrat. And let's see this. I can't do them in alphabetical order. Never mind. But so you got aristocrat, scholar, fighter, scoundrel, explorer, and engineer. So,
Mm, one point, if you like to be a very reliable engineer, it would be a good thing to have engineer as your pinnacle skill.
It would be,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's more faithful to,
Okay.
um, given his background and his portrayal, to have it as his second highest and like take a stunt or whatever to boost it when working with Jade Tech or something along those lines.
And +2 isn't that bad. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So and
Because
then
actually,
what's more?
as an engineer, you would be the guy who actually steers our ship. Because I have engineering 0, so
Well, you can also steer the ship
I
with
probably won't
Explorer,
do.
I think.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
I thought engineer is the profession.
Possibly. I forget what Ryan wrote there, so I'm going to look it up.
So what are the other professions? Aristocrat, engineer, fighter, scoundrel, explorer, and scholar. Okay.
And Scout and Scholar, yep. Okay, so Explorer evades and navigates, whether behind the yoke of an airship or in a hike. So you can use Explorer for it, and you can use Engineer for it.
Great. I have Explorer at 2, by the way.
Okay. Because I guess technically, if you had, like, say, a hot air balloon or a Zeppelin that didn't have Jade Tech, then you couldn't really use Engineer to do it. Maybe. I don't know.
I thought engineer was like just in general interacting with any sort of technology.
It is.
Like, yeah, okay. So you'd use engineer if you wanted to make a regular sword, a non-Jade Tech
Well,
sword.
I guess you could pilot with Engineer, but I don't think you can navigate with Engineer. In the sense
Yeah,
of, like, you can go anywhere you can look, but you can't read maps or anything like that. And so it gets trickier. So, okay. So we got... And Explorer. All right. So we got professions taken care of, I think. Yes?
Yes.
All right. And then we get to... I think assets is next and last, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys have 7 refresh, from which you can buy assets. And assets are allies, techniques, and gadgets.
Yeah, I might rethink my ally asset because this was more for a more urban kind of adventuring.
Okay.
Don't know, but maybe not, because actually,
Well, if you did, you'd get 2 refresh back if you took him back.
yeah, but yeah.
And then you can get
Maybe
some...
I could always find a new ally later.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you have the skills to build allies.
Yeah.
Or you could get yourself, I don't know, some kind of defense, either a technique or a gadget. We'll see. It's not like assets can be. We designed it so you can build assets in play. So.
I did think about one device asset. I'm not quite sure how to construct this.
Okay.
That would be some kind of like in leverage or something. those earpiece gadgets, so that I could plug one into my ear and in the ear of the fellow crew members, and we can communicate with this. What do you think? How to create this as an asset?
Well, there's a couple ways. I've already built a few in the Jadetech books, because there's watercolors which can talk to anyone through water. But I think this would be like a miniaturized wind collar, which lets you talk to anyone with another wind collar device, which would be a white jade. Yeah.
White jade, okay.
And let's look at features and see what we can make it do. Well, first it would be exceptional. Basically, it would let you talk to or have a conversation with anyone without distance being a problem.
I think it could be a bit more restricted regarding the distance.
Well, that's where the flaws would come in.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, just the feature itself just gives you that, and then you'd have to have 2 flaws to do that.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, this is just how I'm thinking, so you can tell me I'm wrong, is that it would require a fair. Let's take a look at your skills. We'll say a fair scholar roll in order to attune somebody else to it, so that way you could talk to them. And then we maybe add situational, and then that would be where we'd put the distance or number of people you can talk to.
Okay, situational. How about well, it's probably not that great a distance communication device. It's more for shorter, more urban-like distances, like few hundred or 200 yards, maybe.
Yeah, okay, that works. Yeah, we'll say something like that. So around 200 yards. And there you are, 1 refresh. You now can attune to anyone and talk to them within 200 yards.
Okay. So I suppose those are some white jade earpiece things I have to you have to apply into your ear, or like a kind of hearing aid or something. So you need to wear this in order to work. But yeah, that's what I'd like to have, some kind of communication ability.
And I think you got it.
Okay.
Okay. Ron, you have the best picture. That's just a fact.
Oh yeah.
Seriously. Where do you even get a hat that cool? That's the question. I want that hat. I have a head that's too big for hats, though. So.
Yeah. So, assets. Are you? So I stepped away. Do you still have your? Are you still gonna have your assistant, Frank, or did you change that out?
He changed that out.
For the moment, I did change that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For the moment.
And you're gonna need a ship.
Yep.
And I have built lots and lots of different kinds of ships.
I am well aware of that. So it is just a matter of me going. I was thinking about that. It's a matter of me just going and pick one and copy pasting. Actually, I think the one on the Blue Jay,
The
Blue Jay,
Tranquility.
yeah.
Not that that was taken from anywhere. So-
Well, even in the Jadepunk main rule book, there's a ship in there too. So
yeah, there's 3 in White Jade, 1 in Blue Jade, 1 in the main book, and then there's going to be a couple in Multi Jade.
so
Which is weird because they're all basically the same. Like it's at the minimum, you can build an airship for 1 refresh. It won't really be that impressive, but you can do it because all you really need is the exceptional feature.
yeah.
All right, so John,
Yep. So I was thinking that Hassan might have a like a Jade Tech bodyguard, like some sort of Jade Punk servitor, like a Clockwork Man sort of.
I can do that.
All right.
That would count as an ally. Um, Now, do you want it to act on its own, or do you want it to just kind of aid you?
Yeah, I figured that it probably would actually get Hassan in trouble precisely because it sometimes seems to have a mind of its own, like taking action to protect me in ways that end up, causing me trouble, independent of, Hassan's commands.
Okay. Well, what I was really asking with the
Yeah, yeah, with acting on its own accord, yes, definitely.
peculiar sense of proportion. All right, I can probably do that for about 2 or 3 refresh. And then you said you wanted an asset that allows you to work with Jade Tech better.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of a couple of yeah assets. I'm not sure what the classification you have for them, but one would be something that is specifically related um, to like modifying or improving Jade Tech, like souping it up.
Okay.
Um, and then one um, related to like as even as a dispossessed aristocrat having access to shit tons of money or in the form of like hidden caches and fungible investments and just people who like he won 300 dinar playing cards with a few years back who still owe him, that sort of thing. um,
Okay, so you want a technique that lets you modify Jade Tech, and a technique that gives you loads of money and influence, even though you're the black sheep.
Yeah, basically mostly money, but the idea is the golden rule.
Well,
Um,
money is just a thing. It's a means to an end. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Um,
so yeah, I can come up with those um, pretty quick. That looking at it, just eyeballing it, that should take up most of your 7 refresh right there,
okay,
because the bodyguard is going to eat up a lot of it.
all right.
And then we can always change it later if we want to. Although oddly, I think the hardest asset to make will be the money one, because I've never done that one. Okay, so we have the PCs. And we have some organizations. We have some faces. Do we have any places? I guess what's the first place we're going to be aiming for? Where have you guys been sent?
That's a good question. I want to say some sort of archipelago.
Okay, an archipelago. I can make that work. What have you been sent to look for?
An idol, of course.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, let's go with the classic.
Oh, make it a very valuable one. Maybe made out of some kind of jade. Maybe even a black jade idol. So several guys could be after this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is this archipelago in the tropics, or is it far north or far south?
No, this is definitely in the tropics.
All right. And what are the things that you know are going to stand in your way?
The natives?
Okay, so there are natives who protect it. Have you gotten wind that the Four Winds Trading Company has sent Fairchild after it?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's simply our bad luck. I cannot explain it otherwise because, well, if I would try to find an explanation, that would mean that someone of our crew might give them hints where we are on our way, and that wouldn't be a thing an honest man would do, wouldn't it?
All right, so we're heading to an archipelago, which means you don't know specifically where in the archipelago the idol is.
Right, of course.
And I'm thinking, in addition to the natives, that in true like pulp adventurer fashion, there um, are also probably savage beasts there, perhaps
Oh, there are.
perhaps incited or slightly uplifted or energized by the radiations of the Black Jade idol. Uh, because what's a steampunk game if you can't, punch a velociraptor in the face?
Well, now
Or
you'll be punching a jade-tainted velociraptor in the face. They're velociraptors who can eat your soul, not just your body.
Awesome.
All right, I can make that work. All right, so I think, do we have anything else you guys want to add? Any other people?
Well, while we are outside of any civilized company, I think people is a bit. It's not that easy to add to this. In civilized company, I do have some ideas, but maybe they will turn out as allies. Let's see how this
Okay.
develops.
What are the faces you'd like to add?
For example, a kind of Irish missionary of the Church of Ehau, some really nice and motivated fellow going to the poor people outside and bring them the word of Ehau.
Okay. And John, did you have anyone you wanted to add?
Yeah, yeah. Um, oh, buddy, Snowy, remember your mother found Snowy a new home. Um, yeah, I'd say. Just a moment, guys. Why? Because Snowy wasn't fitting in very well with.
Situational. So. This.
I'm not sure, but probably somewhere. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So, in any case, yeah, I figured the man who ended up killing Cyril, I think like in contrast to Douglas Fairchild, who I don't know, Ron, were you thinking that the guy is like straight up ruthless, or that he's more like a worthy rival treasure hunter sort of guy?
Oh no, this guy's Rufus.
Okay, all right.
But I think he puts on airs of being cultured.
Yes,
Okay.
He's like Belloc, or at least in my mind, he's a bit like Belloc. You know, he's a cultured guy, grew up in with the finest things. He's just a thug in a cheap suit, though. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm talking to my friends, buddy. Hey. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the full body hug. Thank you, buddy. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking that I think that the man that had Cyril taken care of was Abraham Dearborn, and I think that in contrast to because I want them to be contrasting figures. In contrast to Douglas Fairchild, um, Abraham is, buddy. It's okay. You just bumped your head. It's okay. Yeah, on the table. You need to watch where you're going. In contrast to Douglas Fairchild, Abraham actually like he thinks of himself as an honorable person. Maybe he's one of the guys like sponsoring Fairchild. Um, when he says like take care of someone, he doesn't really know or care what happens after that. But like the man behind him is what I was thinking. Because initially I was thinking of having Abraham be a ruthless thug, but having too ruthless, I don't want to step in on Douglas. Buddy, no, sweetie pie, we've already had dinner tonight, okay? We don't need another banana. Yeah, I understand that, but no, sweetie pie. No, but I understand that, buddy, but we're not having another banana right now, okay? Yeah, so that's well, buddy, we already had ice cream today. We're not having any more, okay? I'm sorry, buddy. We're not having any Halloween candy. All right. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. What do you guys think? I understand. You need to go over here and have a
That
conversation.
works. Yeah, we got kind of a fixer sort of a guy who's behind a lot of bad stuff happening, but doesn't directly involve himself. White gloves and monocle. Well, you got to have that villain. The guy who, on the surface, looks to be never having done anything wrong, but really hires out all kinds of very bad people to do bad things. All right, so we have Father Rufus. It works. All right, and so I think we're good for this week, and then I'll come up with the archipelago and some sweet traps and some local people and other things as well. I'm thinking this was a recent acquisition by the Irish Empire, this archipelago.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
And so they have a tiny, basically a tiny little fort that's where they're going to start colonizing from.
That sounds good to me. So, what I kind of skipped over asset creation, but well, so I have the one asset is the Azure Horizon, which is the name of the ship.
Oh yeah.
It's basically the ship out of the Blue Jade supplement.
Mm-hmm.
Except with one fewer flaw, so it costs 2 refresh.
Instead of one.
Yep, it's modular cargo vessel aspect, exceptional. Instantly lever appears seen as long as they're aware, as long as there's a way in or out. And it's
Should be by
31
air, though,
by
not by
air.
water.
Yes, by water. Okay.
I mean, unless you want it to be a sea ship, that works too.
You know what? This doesn't need to be Blue Jade. This could be a White Jade. Okay.
Oh, also another face, if I can cram it in there, is I was thinking um, Hakim Al Karim, Hassan's father, who's you know who's closely connected probably by marriage with Cyril's family, and so feels obligated to you know um, address their grievances with him, even if he's conflicted about it. Yep. Sure, buddy. That'd be great.
All right, so sort mess out. All right, cool. I can work with that.
I love apples.
Okay, and then we've got for places as well. We have the blue or the the Azure Horizon. The ship are fine and trustworthy crew. All right. I wrote it down. It's true now.
Yeah. No. The Google Docs thing, for whatever reason, is just not working for me.
Okay, so I think I've got enough that I can start building the archipelago and whatnot this week. And then, are we good next Sunday?
Yep.
I know it's getting kind of close to Christmas time.
That should be fine.
I think we should. And I don't yet. We're still working out plans for when we can get all the family together on my end for Christmas. But we should be good next Sunday.
Okay.
Currently. And I will let you know if anything changes. And please let me know if anything changes. I'll build an event.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got through character creation. And John, I have your character write up in the notes. So So whenever you can sort out
Yeah, I'll
what
try
happened.
to figure out the issue that I'm having with Google Docs. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, well, thank you guys for putting up with the constant interruptions and such. I appreciate it.
All right. And I'll see you guys next week. Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds
sounds good.
Okay.
good night, all.